Hi everybody, it's Bobby Pratt with the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project. May is Water Safety Month. Today's the 20th of May. We're 2/3 of the way through National Water Safety Month. So we're continuing our discussion today about Great Lakes water safety. I had planned on continuing talking about some of the problems with the state of Michigan, and we were going to talk more about the flag system and the lifeguards, but we're going to change that up a little bit. Today we're going to talk about a different aspect of water safety, and I'm going to start with a riddle. So how would Beyonce help us make the beaches safer in the Great Lakes? Well, the answer is put a ring on it. So today we're going to be discussing throw rings or life rings on our beaches. And what prompted this was a Facebook post from a group, an official group from the Michigan State DNR, the Michigan State Parks, Trails, and Waterways. They posted this picture yesterday and this comment. We're going to zoom in on the bottom of the throw ring here, and we're going to notice that the rope that's attached to the throw ring has been wrapped several times, 6 to 8 times around the throw ring. Now, ordinarily, I wouldn't make a big deal out of this. Could be a simple mistake, could be just somebody not knowing what's happening, but this is not just a one-off. Unfortunately, this is something that I see on a regular basis. Last week I was in Mokena, Illinois, doing a water safety presentation for an elementary school, and on the way back home, as I often do, I stopped at Holland State Park and went paddling. And while I was there, I noticed this. This is a throw ring on the beach in Lake Makatawa, and as you can see, the rope, like the rope in the picture on the Facebook post, is not available to be used. It's all knotted up, and in order for someone to use this, making a rescue, they would have to unknot the rope. You may notice that this is daisy chained if you are a climber or a sailor, and easier to untie if you know what you're doing and know how to untie it. But for most lay people, they're unaware that there's an easy way to untie this rope. And if they try to untie it conventionally, it would take several minutes. And as we learned in an earlier podcast, the timeline of drowning is very, very short. And so literally seconds matter. And if it took you 60 seconds, 90 seconds to untie this rope, then that could have been the difference between being able to use the throw ring successfully and not being able to rescue the person using the throw ring. Again, I wish this were a one-off. Unfortunately, here's a picture of throw rings from last summer at the Lake Michigan beach at Holland State Park. As you can see, many of the throw rings are unusable in the condition that they're found in. This is just appalling. This is life safety rescue equipment, and it needs to be readily available. It needs to be capable of being used in a matter of seconds, because that's how fast drowning occurs. I've had people comment that I shouldn't be ranting on Facebook or on other social media about these issues. I should be taking them to the DNR directly, and I have. I have met with several people. I've met with directors of the parks. I've met with supervisors of the areas of the parks. Apparently they've made some changes. They've made some improvements. But the vast majority of the time, these issues go unanswered. There are signage on the beaches that are completely inappropriate. These throw rings are in horrible condition. And they're found that way too often. Once is too often, but they're found that way on numerous occasions. And I will continue to meet with parks officials. I'll continue to meet with the Michigan DNR. I'll continue to meet with anybody talking about water safety. But I will not stop ranting and stop pointing these things out when I find them. So I made several comments on the Facebook page. I got a nice curt response from the DNR saying that they will make the changes, but I've heard that before. So while we're on the topic of throw rings and Great Lakes beach safety, let me take this opportunity to talk about some really good things that have happened in the last couple of years across the Great Lakes region. Sadly, none of them have taken place in my home state of Michigan. So in Chicago, the Chicago Alliance for Waterfront Safety, spearheaded by Hallie Caseta, has done some really fantastic work. And they were able to work with Representative Kelly Cassidy and to get a bill passed through the legislature and signed by the Illinois governor that mandates rescue equipment like these throw rings on the waterfront in Chicago. Here's a picture of some of those rings, and they have already been used in several rescues of people, so they're already saving lives. And we tried to pass a similar bill in Indiana. It sailed through the committee led by Senator Pohl and unanimously passed out of the committee, passed through both houses, and then got held up at the last minute by someone who thought that the local jurisdictions should take care of this and it shouldn't be a state mandate. Hopefully it will be brought up again next year, and hopefully we won't have significant loss of life on the Indiana shoreline like we have in the past years. Thankfully, there are some individuals working in Indiana to make their beaches safer. Marianne Best at Wells Street Beach and the city of Gary, Indiana, has put up rescue stations with life jackets and throw rings along their coastline and have made rescues with them. And we applaud their efforts and hope to see those types of efforts continue. And we're currently working with the National Park at Indiana Dunes and hopefully can make some progress with rescue equipment on their beaches. Tomorrow, we're going to continue our discussion about the beach flags. We're going to be talking specifically about the colors. We're going to be talking about the lack of consistency with the colors. We're going to be talking about the lack of consistency with how the flags are flown. We're going to be talking about the lack of forethought that went into the beach flags to be used instead of lifeguards. And I hope you'll join me then. So have a nice day. Thanks.